Good. All right, I'd like to welcome everyone to the January 19th, 2017 Delaware County Board of Commissioners meeting. And we'll start off with a pledge, if everyone could join me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. To my right is to my left is Vice President Commissioner Gary Merrill. To my right is fellow Commissioner Barb Lewis. To Barb's right is Farzan Ahmed, our County Administrator, and we have Sarah Deneau as a clerk today. So with that, I think we can get started.
Resolution number 17-32, in the matter of approving the electronic record of the proceeding from regular meeting held January 12th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Vote.
Vote on motion 17-32. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
We have no public or elected comments today. Resolution number 17-33. In the matter of approving purchase orders, spend and now certificates and payments of warrants and batch number CNA PR 0118.
So moved.
Second.
I think, what are we missing?
Our chair fell.
I tried to move my chair.
Barb shrank.
I tried to move. All right, I better explain it. Yeah, thank you. Oh, good, thanks. Okay. I tried to move my chair up, but I moved it down. So, since it's best that I'm over the table, can be seen.
Your nose above the table.
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
All right, where are we on this?
I made the motion. I think Commissioner seconded it.
I did. I did.
All right, discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-33. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-34, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-34. Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-35, in the matter of approving bid specifications and setting bid opening date and time for 2017 tree clearing.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Rob Riley, Chief Deputy Engineer. As you may know, we go out for bid each year for several different road maintenance materials and services, including tree clearing, stone aggregate, and curb and sidewalk construction. We are asking for your approval to go out to bid for these three items, and hopefully we'll get some good prices and save some money this year.
What kind of pricing do you expect?
It varies from year to year depending on who bids. Generally speaking, I should say in years past, we have awarded non-exclusive bids. So basically all the vendors that submit a bid, responsive bid, we have made an award to, and then we'll go through the bid tabulation each time we need that particular material or service and go to the low bidder first. In the event they aren't able to fill that order, either based on schedule or they may not have the particular material handy, we'll go to the next bidder, but generally speaking, we'll always go to the lowest bidder.
Do the people who cut down the trees then take the tree with them after they're cut? I know I think some of this has to do with power lines, though. In particular when trees are cut down. And
that is part of the specification that they remove the trees, and the only exception to that is if the property owner has specifically asked to keep the firewood from the tree. Then
Okay.
we'll accommodate them.
Thank you.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-35. Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-36, in the matter of approving bid specifications and setting bid opening date and time for 2017 stone aggregate.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Any further comments on?
Really nothing further. This is one of the three.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 17-36. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-37, in the matter of approving bid specifications and setting bid opening date and time for the 2017 curb and sidewalk construction annual contract.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Any further comments on this one? I had a question. I didn't really realize or think that we have that many curbs and sidewalks to maintain because we're mostly county roads, so...
We really don't, and I'm glad you brought that up. We actually bid this contract in part so that townships can join and use these bid prices. We open up these bids for cooperative purchasing partners, which includes the townships, Soil and Water District, and Preservation Parks, who has made use of these contract prices in the past. So generally, townships maintain a lot more sidewalks and curb than we do, but we do have some that we occasionally use this contract for.
Okay, that would make sense. So we help the townships and the parks and so on. Okay. All right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-37. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 17-38, in the matter of authorizing the submitting of an application for a Supreme Court of Ohio 2017 Court Technology Grant for the Delaware County Adult Court Services.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is a Ohio Supreme Court grant that I applied for a few weeks ago. I think I explained it to Mr. Ahmed. It's no funds from the county if we get approved on this, so kind of offset some of the money I asked for in our budget if we get it. Last year I applied and was denied, so I'm hopeful this year that they'll look at us and give us some of the money. So it's a no-match grant through the state. They offer it once a year.
I understand we budgeted to share some of the cost of this, so it looks like we have an opportunity to not spend some of our money.
Right, and as I explained during budget time last year, there's some monies I asked for, hoping that there would be some grants available that we'd apply for or renew, and this is one that, again, I applied last year, was just flat out that I didn't get anything. This year, they've offered it again, set the parameters a little more stringent, and again, I'm hopeful that we'll get a portion of the money, if not all of it. I asked for less than $10,000, so for the state, hopefully that's not a whole lot of money for them, but it would really help us. And I'm anticipating using this if you read it and have any questions. It's a kiosk that will go in the Adult Court Services front office where our offenders appear, and they can log in with a palm print or a thumbprint and fill out some basic information that will assist our officers in just proceeding along with this offender or each offender getting them in and out of our office and just ensuring their compliance. So that's basically what it is.
So it sounds like it would be win-win. You know, it takes up less of your staff time, makes it easier for the people who are filing the information.
Exactly. Yeah, and again, I did ask for the money, and you guys granted the portion of the budget to cover that, but if I can get this money, then obviously that saves the whole county a few dollars too. So again, if we don't get it, I guess we lose, but other than that, it's a win-win. If we get the money, it saves us. If we don't, well, we're not out anything. So
When will you know?
I think by February 1st, so it's pretty quick. They offer it in January, and they're pretty quick on their turnaround, so haven't heard anything yet, but I'm hopeful in the next few weeks we'll hear something.
Sounds like a good project. Commissioner Ahmed, any further questions?
Give me a promotion. Thank you.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 17-38. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Resolution number 17-39, in the matter of approving transfer of funds for Job and Family Services.
So
So,
moved.
second?
Discussion. We're getting there, Angela.
On the draw this morning. Angela Thomas, Job and Family Services. We're presenting for you today some reimbursements that go back to the Public Assistance Fund. One comes from the Workforce Investment dollars, and that's $77,508.68. And then there's a reimbursement from the Children's Services Fund to the Public Assistance Fund for $261,585.46. And then lastly, we're requesting the mandated share from the county for $166,471.
Okay.
All right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-39. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 17-40, in the matter of accepting sanitary sewer improvements for Nelson Farm South, North Farm Section 4 and 8, and the villas at Loke Lomond.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mike Fromer, sanitary engineer. These subdivisions, the sanitary sewers, have been installed and tested, and we are recommending approval of the infrastructure.
Okay.
All right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-40. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-41, in the matter of approving the sanitary sewer subdividers agreement for the village at Vale Canyon Phase 2 through 6, Phase 4 of the sanitary sewer improvement plan for the village at Vale Canyon Phases 2 through 6.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
This is a standard subdividers agreement for the improvements at the village of Vale Canyon.
Okay, vote.
Vote on motion 17-41. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 17-42, in the matter of approving an agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners and the Henry P. Thompson Company for the furnishing of goods for the Olentangy Environmental Control Center UV Channel Hydraulic Control Improvement Project.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
We received 2 bids for the equipment for the UV system, and these are actually they're modulating weirs that automatically, depending on the flow that's coming into the plant, they adjust the amount of flow going into the disinfection channel so that we, during the nighttime, there's very low flows, and then when we get wet weather, they get much larger, so it automatically adjusts so we maintain compliance. So.
How much did we budget for this?
We were anticipating, the amount came in a little bit more than what we were anticipating. I think we were expecting about $110,000 for the equipment, so.
Okay. Is this the total dollars on this contract?
This is we actually are purchasing the equipment, and then our crews are actually installing it. So there is some pretty good savings by having them do the installation versus, having a contractor do the construction. So the time frame is very tight. We have to get this back in service. Our UV system goes out during the winter months, and then has to be back in during the spring and summer months. And I think we only received 2 bids, and probably some of the escalated cost was the time frame to manufacture. But we need to get it back in April 1st, the equipment, so.
Okay. Any further questions? All right, vote.
Vote on motion 17-42. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that brings us to administrative reports.
Looking forward to the state of the city this afternoon with the City of Delaware, and of course the county is hosting the Delaware Partnership meeting tomorrow, also known as the Bob Lamb Show. Looking forward to that one. As you know, Commissioners, the county does give out service awards to people who have reached certain milestones in their career, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, and what we typically do is we'll give it to the director or the supervisor so they can give them out to the people under them, and I have 3 on my, I just wanted to mention, I'll give them out to the individuals later, but I did want to mention them in session. The honorees will be Jennifer and Walraven and Brian Gallagher and Cy Kelly. They have, I think Cy's got 20 years and Jennifer and Brian have 15 each. So congratulations and good job, and enjoy working with you guys.
Thank you. Great service.
So you have a speech for us?
That's the speech.
Jennifer. Yeah.
Jennifer, speech?
Yeah.
Sorry, such a man, a few words. I had to put him in this fun.
All right. That it?
Sorry, thank you.
Commissioner Lewis.
Well, Administrator Farzana Ahmed and I went to the Martin Luther King Jr. celebration breakfast on Monday morning, and there were other office holders there too, and it was definitely a good event. At least, I don't know, 250 people or so at Ohio Wesleyan.
Yeah, Williamson, it was full.
Yeah,
was full
yes.
completely.
It was full. It was full, which is really good. One of the themes was bringing together our community, working together. And one of the things that I noticed was that the city gave recognition, a resolution of recognition to the day, and I was thinking that's something that we should be doing next year. So we can do that then. And they also, the speaker recognized Carolyn K. Regal, the mayor, and thanked City Council for that resolution too. So, which was a good idea. And then yesterday, just yesterday, Bob Lamb organized a visit to, Rev 1 Ventures. Their mission is to help entrepreneurs build great companies, and so had a luncheon and luncheon and then a tour and then a meeting, which I thought was really productive, and very impressed with the operation there. I'll let you explain it further. That's all.
I thought you were going to explain it, and we wouldn't have to say anything on it.
I'm going to share the speeches.
You look my way. Do you want me to go next? Sure. I thought it was productive. It was, I think, I learned a lot, but it raised other questions, and it's fascinating what's going on in that operation, Rev 1, and I think they have like 50 different businesses that are housed in that building, and
Invest in 150.
150, yeah, it's very, very impressive, and I look forward to getting more information as we, I guess, going to visit another couple of sites, at least one, maybe two more. And the only other thing I have is Saturday, I have the opportunity to represent the county at the Ohio Wesleyan Community Day, so if I have time in the men's game, I'll say a few words to welcome the people in town for the game, as I guess I have done the last 2 or 3 years. Our president's out of town this weekend, so I know he would be, he also has a close affiliation with Ohio Wesleyan, so I'm sure if he's in town, he'd love to have done it, but I'm happy to do it. I've always enjoyed it. And they have a lot of booths in the early part of before the game, so you can come and see what's going on in the community. A lot of so it's well worth going. I encourage the people in our city or county to catch a competitive basketball game, both men and women's, and also get a chance to visit the booths. I believe they open around 10 o'clock, but somewhere in 10 or 11 range, and then the games, I think, start around 1 o'clock. The other thing I have, 26 hours, guys, 26 hours. And we have a new president.
That's right.
And 11 minutes.
And the peaceful transition of
Yes.
government once again in our great country.
Yes, that is worth mentioning. I mean, the transition of power is something that we really take for granted, and it's so important. So very few countries historically and even today have a peaceful transition of power, and you've lived.
Growing up, there were times when everybody was indoors for about a month because of all the killing that was going on outside. Just sit tight and wait for everything to cool down, and then you can get out of the house when there was a transfer of power.
It makes you appreciate what we have.
Yes.
In fact, we've got 5 4-H'ers.
That's right.
Going to the ceremony as a special privilege and reward for their efforts.
And they were very impressive.
Oh, my goodness.
They were.
I'm not going to single out but name, but one, she must have been interviewed for 20 minutes. He just very impressive from distance, just watching the interview. But they all were impressive. And we're certainly going to be well represented at 4-H.
Yes.
These all 5 young ladies that represent different school systems. Olin Tangi, I believe, and the one out in Ostrander, I'm not sure what school she went to, and then we also, I think, had a couple that were homeschooled.
Yes, and one online.
Yeah, so it's
very impressive.
But they were all very impressive young ladies.
And it will be, as you mentioned, Commissioner Benton, it's going to be a life-changing experience. at this stage in their lives, going to D.C. and seeing the inauguration and meeting people, and it's just going to be...
Yeah. And out of the audience who was there, we had one person who had ever been to an inaugural, and that was our own Jane Hawes.
Oh, all right.
So it was,
Yeah.
again, it's very,
Yes.
obviously it happens once every 4 years and very difficult to get tickets and so on. So great that they can go and represent Delaware County. Anything else? Okay. Sarah, anything this morning for you? Nothing. Jen, any further comments? All right. I'm going to keep calling on you guys to come up with stuff.
Silence about ready to speak, but
Yeah.
I'm holding back.
You're called sign.
12 years? Oh, okay. So we've been warned.
It'll be a mic drop moment.
All right. I happened to run into Warren Heyer, who is the director of the Central Ohio Symphony, at the movies Saturday evening, and I saw Hidden Figures. So if you haven't seen Hidden Figures, it's a great movie. You got to go see it. Fascinating movie, just great. But anyway, he mentioned that the Central Ohio Symphony is putting together a Hear Ohio concert. It's H-E-A-R, not H-E-R-E. But it's going to, and it's in early April, and it's going to feature Ohio composers, Ohio musicians, and singers, and what am I missing? But anyway, it's got strictly Ohio songs and music on the agenda. So it should be very interesting. They're trying to get some statewide recognition for this and support. They've got a grant to help them put it on, but it's very exciting. It should be really neat. So we'll need to get engaged in that. Warren and I talked about some sort of role for the county to play. Cy and I met on putting together a monthly financial report that will be kind of a high-level analysis of the results of the county and the various funds and so on, and variances and explanations and tracking some things. And so when we met Tuesday, I think it was, and went through that, laid out the framework for that. So that's going to be very interesting, very helpful, I think. We've got the Developmental Disabilities Board swearing in this evening, board members swearing in, so that should be interesting. We have a CCAO board meeting tomorrow, and Senator Matt Huffman was going to be there to talk about introducing legislation to allow local jurisdictions to opt out of prevailing wage, but he's not going to be there tomorrow, after all. So I was going to go, but I'm not going to go now. But it is going to be a topic that will be brought forward in the JEDI committee, apparently.
Well, and I'll be there tomorrow because I'm on the board, so
Yeah.
whether he speaks or not, I'll be there.
Yeah, JEDI doesn't stand for Jedi Warrior. It's Joint Economic Development and Infrastructure
I think that's right.
Committee of the CCAO, and Commissioner Merrill's on that, so he'll represent us well, I'm sure. Lastly, we do have Central Ohio Senior Citizens Hall of Fame ceremony Wednesday, May 17th, and Commissioner Merrill had advanced a name for us to nominate and present to the group that puts this Hall of Fame ceremony on. We obviously won't announce that name until we find out if we got that person in. But anyway, nice recognition and a good ceremony, and Commissioner Merrill's been going for several years now.
Then you went last year. I went the previous three, and it's a really to honor some of these seniors that have served our county so well, and at an important time in their lives. And Commissioner Lewis, you went last year. Did
Yes.
you find that to be the case as well?
Well, and what's the best part is to hear the seniors accept their awards, because they are what they've accomplished and what they're still doing is just amazing. Just no matter what the age, they're just going full guns. And
This is a number of counties in central Ohio. It's not just Delaware or Franklin.
Right.
It comes from a fairly large geographical area.
it is.
One other thing, you mentioned Strand. I'm on the Strand board as well, and they have a membership to $100, get you reduced prices on matinees. I thought
Free box of popcorn.
Free popcorn. So I thought I'd mention that. It's a great way to support the Strand Theater. It is a beautiful theater. I think it's the 10th longest running theater in the country.
Oh, my God.
And I think we sometimes lose sight of what some of our local treasures are, and that certainly is one of them, and your comment regarding the Strand made me think of that.
Yeah, it's been renovated, and it's just beautiful. It is really.
Still have one to do, the balcony upstairs, and they still need to raise some money for that, and but with that, that'll be the finalization of the major renovation. There's always things to do in a facility of that stature and that age, but that is the last huge building block to finish the project that's been started several years ago.
All right. With that, I think we have need for executive
We do.
session.
Resolution number 17-43, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of appointment of a public employee or public official for pending or imminent litigation.
So moved. Second.
All right, discussion? Vote?
Vote on motion 17-43. Mr. Merrill? Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Okay, if we can get Commissioner Lewis out of her chair without
That's
proving
right.
it. We're in executive session.
Well, I missed the draw.